Oh dear. Hey Dividend Chasers, it's the Dividend Bloodhound here and Mrs. Dividend Bloodhound here, updating you with buying our first home together. It's been an exciting couple of days because we finally had some big news come through that we're actually making progress on this now. Last time we covered that our mortgage had been accepted, our offer on the home had been accepted. We've instructed the solicitors and everything was in progress. So now we're moving on to what's happening next. We've had some good news coming over the last few days or so, and I'll hand you over so we can find out what that is.
Okay, so following last time in our video, we finally received our sales notification letter, which basically details their vendors' solicitors, their details, and we had a nightmare with it really because it took so long just to get there, and it should only take a couple of days, and 2 weeks later we still hadn't received this letter or just an email.
Simple letter or email that should have taken
not long.
48 hours.
So I kept pestering our estate agents for this letter, multiple phone calls, multiple emails, and we still didn't receive this letter. So it kind of led us to believe that, well, are the vendors actually serious? Are they just buying some time? Because we did have that problem before, didn't we?
It's like it just seemed like they were buying time to then leave us high and dry, ditch us basically, and we were really starting to get cold feet about it, weren't we? Really starting to get quite worried that it was all just going to fall over and that was going to leave us feeling pretty disappointed and annoyed, to be fair.
Yeah, so basically I ended up making a formal complaint, and that same day I got a call from the estate agent who I made the complaint about, and he wanted a chat with me.
A chat?
Yeah, it was a chat, and then I ended up getting it the same day, and I had all of the details that I needed. I had the letter that I needed, so I guess the formal complaint worked, right? So he didn't want to be in the bad books at work.
He knew that we were serious at that point. I think, like, not to be messed around with. It was frustrating because you'd tried so hard to just get in touch with him, get it all going. And it just didn't seem to happen. I phoned up as well. It seemed like everybody had phoned and tried to get this sorted, and every time we were greeted with the same sort of answer. Oh yeah, we'll chase it up, we'll do this, we'll do that. And we got fed up of being told, oh, we'll chase it up, when nothing was happening, and it went on for something that should have taken 48 hours, ended up taking over 2 weeks in the end or something, weren't it?
Yeah,
it took
so
ages.
I guess the point here is that if you're not getting anything back from your estate agents or whatever, just make a formal complaint. It doesn't need to be kind of too harsh, but you know, it gets them noticed by their boss, and then you'll get communication.
Get it down on paper.
And because then we were confident that the vendors had invested into the process, we then decided to do the home buyers survey. And I think we said last time that there's 3 kind of surveys. They all vary in the level to the extent of what, how much they search your property and review it. And the home buyers is kind of the middle one. Ours is a relatively new building, so it didn't need the full-on.
Need a full structural survey.
Yeah, so, and that costs a lot of money. So we wanted to make sure that the vendors were invested, and they were. So we ended up instructing the home buyers, and then we sat tight for a bit. We didn't hear anything, and then last week we heard back from our bank that the mortgage had been accepted. So that is a massive thing in the process of buying a house. You need your mortgage. So
it's going nowhere if you don't.
So to have that accepted was great news. I think we ended up having a drink to celebrate, and
we had some wine, I think, if I remember rightly.
And then since then it's been a bit crazy. So a few days later, we heard from our solicitors, and they had given us the results from all their searches. And kind of with this, you get all the contents of the property listed and what's going to be listed when you move in. So what the vendors are willing to leave. Of course, it can get really, really petty.
Nitty gritty, to say the least.
Honestly, it can, and it kind of came down to the towel rail as well. I think they wanted £10 for a towel rail, and just silly, really, really silly things. Like, they're not going to leave the blinds that are especially made for the house. Which I personally think, if you're going to buy a house, I think the vendor should leave the curtains and the blinds. It's just kind of courteous.
It's courteous.
What are they going to do with it,
At the same time, we're dealing with this sort of people that are taking some plants from the garden and some soil.
They want some £100 for those.
Yeah, and some sleepers.
Honestly,
so
it can get really petty. But you just have to hold your own, and I think sometimes, I mean, they might end up leaving those things there, and even though we've said no, there's nothing we can do about it if they just leave it there. So
we're happy either way. If they take it, it's fine, it's not a problem. If they leave it, we'll deal with it if they leave it. But one thing that's for absolute certain, we're not paying extra money for a property that we've already invested quite a lot of money into. We're certainly not going to pay extras for things that we can essentially live without, and to charge like try and get an extra £10 when they're already making, not going to disclose figures, but they're already making a handsome sum, shall we say, to try and get an extra £10 out of people that are buying your home is just completely silly. In our opinion and in our book, it's completely down to other people's point of view. But me personally, I'd probably just leave the towel rail.
Yeah, I think it will end up costing them more money to just remove these things and replace them, like the radiators, and to replace things. But, you know, we don't really mind. We want to make the property
it's
like
ours. It's not our problem.
Put
we'll
our
make
stamp
it our
on it. So what they leave, and we will just deal with them. Thank you very much. And so we did have them, and then we had the property information form, so that also tells kind of the solicitor side and the solicitor information, what they've reported, things like what's yours, so the boundaries. So if we're in it, because we're in a terrace, so it's kind of, you know, what you want to see, what you have to look after, what you're liable for, and things like that.
The front garden doesn't have a fence down the middle of it, so it's just, I mean, it's obviously in line with where your house ends, but because the house is just brickwork all the way through, because it's a terrace, you need to know exactly where that line is. But in this instance, it's exactly where our house ends. Funnily enough, that's where our garden ends as well, but there's just no line in the sand drawn, so that had to be clarified. And also our car parking space, or spaces plural, as well, which was a bit of a weird one as well, because we were told a space and a half. So we were envisaging, well, we've got one space, but how is the other space? Is it that way, or is it that way, or how are we going to end up with it? And we've ended up with two pretty much, haven't we? There's one, and then we share the other one with the neighbour, but the neighbour apparently doesn't really use it that much, which is a positive on our part. But then at the same time, when we went to view the property, we actually had plenty of space to park the cars around the back as well, so it wasn't really a great deal. Yeah,
and then following that, we booked a second viewing. So we hadn't seen the property at this point for a couple months.
Yeah, sort of.
Or felt like a couple months anyway, maybe 6 weeks.
It's over a month since we made our last video, so it's been quite a while.
So it must have been about it anyway. And so we booked in for a second viewing. We didn't know whether we were going to meet the vendors or not, so we were a bit unsure about that, but it'd have been quite nice, I think. And then
it'd have been nice to see them, but
as it turned out, we were meeting the estate agent, which I actually made a formal complaint about. So I was quite nervous. I was very nervous to actually meet him.
He was actually it was actually fine, weren't it? He was normal, nice, no sly comments, no sly digs, nothing like that, no sarcasm, no patronisation, which
All these
patronisation a word? I don't know.
I don't think it is.
He wasn't patronising then, I'll put it that way, was he? We were
Which
on the
I
lookout
thought,
for that.
I thought he definitely would have.
We were definitely on the lookout for that. So
Anyway, so we went to basically measure up, and this is the exciting bit where we actually get to actually, I'd say, just work out what furniture we want to go for, and we basically want to make it really, really nice for our first home. And there's lots of different websites you can go on to kind of get inspiration. So we've been doing that quite lately, and it made it quite nice to go in and try and envision some of our ideas. And work out whatever our furniture already.
Or not.
We've already bought some furniture for our place now.
You guys are sat on it, or as it is, you're on the table that we've bought.
And we had this a year ago, and we decided that for us we wanted to buy good quality furniture, and therefore it will last when we go into our home. So now we've got all the measurements. We came back that night and spoke for hours and hours, really,
find a way to make it
about
fit.
how to make everything fit, make everything work. So that's where we've been, really. And we are getting really excited because we're pushing for a kind of October move date, which is really, really quick I'd say for a home purchase, and usually it can take months and months. So
especially if you're in a chain. Fortunately, neither us or the vendors are in a chain, so it's just one transaction, which is going to add the speed here, because we're just buying that place and that's it, really. We're not waiting on anything else. We can get out of this place by submitting our notice to the landlord, and the vendors are either moving into rented accommodation themselves or moving back in with parents temporarily while they look for somewhere else. So that means this can move super fast, which is what everybody wants. We want it, and so do the vendors, really, which is why they chose our offer ultimately, I think.
Yeah, we gave the vendors our offer initially, as long as they promised a quick turnover, as much as somebody can promise. When we spoke to our solicitors, we said, look, we want a quick turnaround.
Speed.
We made sure everybody knew that we wanted a quick turnaround, and if we can get in for early October, which is what we're trying to do, that will be really, really good. And
sooner the better. Absolutely, really.
And exciting.
I'd take tomorrow if they said it.
Tomorrow, with a pack.
So what?
If
they phoned up and gave us the keys, we'd find a way.
Yeah,
we would absolutely find a way. It's not a new build house, but it's a new house to us, I guess. The house itself is a few years old, isn't it? It's not brand new, but it still looks newish. Yeah, newish build. 5 to 10 years, I would say, maybe.
Yeah.
Give or take.
And the area is really lovely as well. So we actually met our neighbours our kind of neighbours when
next door but one.
When we went to view it for the second time, and they just moved in a couple of weeks ago, and he had just moved from I think a house just down the street, and he said, look, we never want to move from this area. And that's what we kind of got from a lot of the houses that we viewed in that area, that people tend to move and stay in that area, which is really nice to know, because I think we're going to really enjoy it.
It's really reassuring, yeah. It's reassuring that we've picked the right place. It is freehold, and in order to answer your other problem, there's no damp or roof problems that we can see and that we are aware of. But that is why we've commissioned the home buyers report at the same time, to go and have that little depth. We've checked everything that we can realistically check, but that's what we've got them to do. It doesn't need a full structural survey because it's not very old at all, but we do want peace of mind, which is why we've ordered the home buyers report and not just a simple valuation.
Yeah. So moving forward and looking forward, I think there's definitely plans to mix up the house a little bit and make it ours and put our stamp on it. I mean, it will take time, it will take money, But we'll definitely update you as we go along, for sure.
Yeah, I think it'll be exciting. We'll probably update you again before moving day, I would say, when we finally got an exchange date or a date for the keys, whatever. But then the video after that will probably come from the actual house itself, and we'll be in.
Yeah, that would be...
It's 2-bedroom, by the way. Whoever just asked that question, I didn't quite catch who it was.
It was Rob.
Oh, was it Rob? So yeah, 2-bedroom, 2 up, 2 down.
Yeah.
We just want to mention about the searches as well. The searches from the solicitors, where they check out against floodplains and if you're anywhere near any water, power stations, that side of things, or I can never say it. Subsidence. Subside side of things. Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you very much, Rob. Yeah, all of that came back negative, or clear, should I say. So there's nothing to worry about in that sort of thing from the solicitor's side of things. So we're literally just waiting for the home buyers report. We're not expecting anything from it, but we'll be paying close attention to what it actually says. But other than that, we're just waiting for...
And the reason why we're waiting is because our home buyers was actually organised for the 2nd of September, and when I asked them kind of, can you give me an update, they said that the vendors hadn't been told that they were going over. So when the home buyers guys turned up on their vendor's doorstep, they were half asleep, and I think they'd done a night shift.
I think the poor guy had done a night shift and
So that was the miscommunication. Oh God.
Maybe.
We'll see how much money we have left after
see what's
this.
left over, yeah.
But yeah, so I've lost my train of thought now.
Funny that.
Yeah, now it's going off and off. Anyway, what was
I've got some got some news for you.
No, don't.
Yeah, I've lost it now. We've completely
Rob,
thrown this video.
what have you done?
What were we doing? What were we saying?
So yes, the estate
Home
agent
buyers
hadn't told the vendors that we had the home buyers people anyway. So that's now delayed the home buyers survey to now the 22nd. So that's what we're waiting on now. We've had pretty much everything we need, and I think that's going to be really the telltale. And if that flags anything up, hopefully we can still make the October deadline. But hopefully it doesn't, and everything's fine. And
I think we're expecting it to be all clear. I'd be surprised if there was anything that has been missed by all the parties that have been through the house already. But you never know. That's what you pay for. And if they flag something, then that's time for us to go back to the vendors and say, well, you need to sort this out before we get through, or as part of the deal, or knock some money off the cost of the house at the end of the day. If it's gonna put us out of pocket to fix it, we want that replicated in the price of the house.
yeah.
Should definitely be in before Christmas. Yeah, 100%.
Hopefully, and Halloween.
Hopefully in before November. Yeah, and Halloween at this rate.
Oh yeah, that will be lovely.
That will be great.
We were talking about this today actually. We saw some Christmas decorations when we went out in town, and I just imagined how all these Christmas decorations that we're gonna have to buy.
We've got more and more. Look how happy you are. Got more and more stuff to get now to decorate the house.
Oh yeah.
We live in an apartment at the moment, so we've only had to worry about indoor lights and indoor ornaments, and now it's a whole house. So we've got to do lights and a little reindeer for the front garden or something. Look at your face. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing.
Big snowman.
We've sort of digressed from the purpose of this episode. Now we're just talking about our life. It is loosely to the house, I suppose.
I think the next video we'll do is when we're in the house, hopefully. Unless we run into any problems.
Or before, yeah.
And then we can probably give you a tour of all the boxes that we have.
Empty house tour, yes.
If that's what you guys want, so just let us know, I guess.
Let us know in the comments below if you want to see an empty house tour, or we'll update you beforehand when we actually get an exchange date, which should be very soon.
Oh, well,
okay.
Hopefully this is a bit insightful for your daughter. And I think for us mainly, the reason why we even started these videos is because it was, you don't learn this stuff when you're younger. You don't.
You just learn as you go.
You kind of
don't
learn as you go, and I just kind of wanted to break it down. I think that was kind of it, because I had no idea. So
Absolutely.
I think hopefully, if there's anybody watching going through the same thing, and it is their first purchase and their first property, then I really hope that we've kind of broken it down and not, thrown any, too much jargon in or anything like that, and just, I don't know.
It's a bit of a daunting process, but we're trying to make it a little bit less daunting.
Yeah, we actually
Completely
figured
agree
out
with
the
that.
other
We were
day,
saying
actually.
that when we have children, that's going to be something that's on our list to do, is to like make them financially literate. That's a good 2 words. Yeah, make them financially literate and financially educate them, because you don't learn about taxes and how to set up a business and money and how to save, how to invest. None of that gets mentioned to you at school. It's all to do with the usual stuff and academia and getting you to basically go and work for somebody else when you can actually work for yourself. That's, to me, I think that's what I'd like to pass on to a lot of stuff I'd like to pass on to our children, but that's definitely one of them, is just good management of finances and money, really.
Yeah, and property.
And property and houses.
Here, watch these videos that we made.
Yeah, they'll still be on YouTube, That's the thing.
Romania.
10 years down the line.
Wow,
Hello, Romania.
hello.
Isn't it funny how far the channel
it's
can reach
crazy.
sometimes? That's absolutely insane. It's great that like how people come across this video, just little old us sat in the UK talking all around the world. That's brilliant. Right. Well,
we hope this video has brought you some insight, and do let us know what you want to view next. We are probably going to do an empty house tour, and even though the house will be filled with boxes, it might spark some interest. So
people love empty house tours.
What's this?
Long-term mortgage fixed. Yeah.
Yes.
As long as possible, judging on these current interest rates at the moment. I don't think it's going to stay that low forever.
No, it isn't.
But yeah, fixed for as long as we can.
Try to take some advantage of the interest rates and the times, and who knows, I guess if we yeah, absolutely. And good luck to your daughter as well, Rob. I hope she gets a great house and
a great deal on that mortgage as well.
Yeah. Right. We'll love you and leave you
think
guys.
we're gonna go,
I think that's it. I think we're wrapped up. Let us know if you have any questions or comments or feedback. We'd love to hear from all of you. And let us know what you want next, I guess.
Yeah, let us know if you want to hear of any different subjects. We're open to helping out as much as we can. We like helping people. As you can see from my investing channel, I like helping in the investing field, of course, in terms of dividend or growth investing. We're trying to bring this journey to first-time home buyers, or even if you're not a first-time home buyer, anything that will help out, really. That's what this channel's all about, really, first and foremost. So thank you, absolutely, thank you very, very much for getting involved in this video today, and I hope to see you either in another episode of our first home
I'm sure
move,
you're going to say another investing episode.
Maybe, or a investing episode where I talk stocks or dividends or growth stocks or anything along them lines. I hope to see you in another episode of that, something like that. I'm just rambling absolute rubbish now, so
Shocker.
I'm gonna see you all soon, hopefully, in either a house move episode or an investing episode, one or the other. Wow, still facing more offers not accepted. That's not good. It's unfortunate. You just got to keep battling away, especially in the popular areas.
It's the competition at the moment is
frustrating.
just incredible.
People trying to take advantage of the stamp duty.
Yeah, we've had it. I don't know if you saw one of our previous episodes, but we almost was gazumped. So we completely empathise with that. You've just got the right house will come along. I'm definitely a believer in, if it's meant to be, it will be. Across my whole entire life, I'm a believer of that. So when it's the right house, I'm sure it'll get accepted. That is my
100%.
advice, is just keep persisting.
Keep persisting, stay consistent, and try and keep upbeat about it, which is quite hard. already had 10
It's
offers.
crazy.
That's insane.
You just got to be quick. I think on our house, we made an offer the same day. And then I think we decided to go a bit higher the next morning, and I'm talking early morning we decided. But there has to be that cut-off of you can't just, they can't just keep
bumping you up and keep
bit.
bumping you up. The trouble is at some point, so people get
bidding
got
wars.
and that's what that look. 10 offers against the house. That's if whoever pays the most or is prepared to part enough money. With enough money, that's ultimately what makes the world go round. Essentially, people value money and time. If you the only thing you've got is if you're not maxing money wise, is if you've got a quick sale or no chain, maybe try and leverage that. Yeah, I'm not as familiar with Scottish law, so that could be different.
Yeah, I think the estate agents plays a lot of. They sometimes facilitate a bidding war, and sometimes
they get more commission out of it.
Sometimes they just say, right, everybody, give me your final offers, and then let's see what's on the table. But you need to make yourself as, I guess, desirable as possible. So we try to play on the whole. We want a quick turnover. We don't have a chain, and if you're in any of those kind of advantageous positions, make it known and stress it. But I guess there's only so much you can do if there's only 10. If there's 10 other offers,
10 people,
so just keep persisting. Really, who knows what the house, the property market will do, and house prices. It's all a bit crazy at the moment, but like I said before, if it's meant to be, it will be, and just keep persisting. And if it's the right place, then maybe
keep trying. That's all we can say, really. We got so disheartened by it when we had our offer potentially rebuked temporarily, so we feel for you basically, because we understand what it's like to have something, the rug pulled from under you or be gazumped, or temporarily in our case, but we do feel what would be that pain.
Let us know though, let us know
but if you find
let us know if you do get any offers accepted, and
drop it in the comments.
We'd like to hear everybody's journey, and any stories that you all have. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some people out there have gone through similar to us, and maybe even some more crazier stories than our initial properties. Well, it seems like a mess for us, but
to some people that would be a summer's day.
To some people that would be quite nice. So we all have our stories. So definitely leave a comment.
Okay, then we're actually going for real this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you guys again. Do update us in the comments of anything that you think is particularly relevant in the video, or you've got any questions, and do update us on your moving journeys as well. And we'll catch you hopefully in another episode. I wasn't going to say investing episode. It is an investing episode. A house is investing to a degree, so I'm going to go with that. See you later. Pleasure as always.
See you later.
Stream will end now. Bye bye.